Before this video begins, I would like to give a shout out to a special fan. I've had this video in my head for a long time and I've been working on it, but thanks to him, I was finally able to finish the script. So, let's get into this. Hello everyone, it's Zebedee here, and, well, you just saw the intro beginning, and you've read the title of today's video. Today, we will be talking about my top 10 favorite real-life engines. Now, disclaimer, this is my opinion. If you absolutely hate that Flying Scotsman isn't number one, yes, I'm spoiling that, then please don't come into my house with a knife and want to kill me. So, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Starting with an honorable mention, yes, we're starting with those. The Irish tender engine 186. Now, this isn't on the list because, well, I like some other engines more, but I just couldn't not put this in because most of the engines, yes, I'm spoiling this, most of the engines on here are British engines, and I wanted to have an engine that wasn't British, so I'm just shouting out this. The Irish 186. Now, moving on to the list. At number 10, we have the Q1, or the Ugly Duckling. You may all know this as the basis for Neville, which I do as well. I just want to say, well, first of all, this was the most successful steam locomotive in Britain, and I really like it. You just can't beat black on an engine. They look good. Well, actually, it's kind of, I prefer blue or green, but I just really like the design, a square shape for a steam engine, so yeah, this is actually pretty good, Moving on to number 9. We have the GWR's 060 number 1363. I was searching for Great Western engines and found this, and ooh, man, this engine is actually really good. It reminds me of Percy a bit, but we have to keep Thomas aside of this. This is real life engines. I just really like, the valve gear and stuff, the saddle, This is a very nice looking engine. And this one rightly deserved the 9th spot on the list. I'm not really a fan of the shirt button though, but Moving on to number 8, we have the Stania Black 5. You all know this as the basis for Henry. Well, when he was rebuilt after the Flying Kipper accident, at least. Well, I've always liked this engine, not just because of Henry, although that's a big thing, being my third favorite character, but, it just has a nice design. I like the firebox, the valve gear, the slanted boiler, which looks weird, but it's nice. Fella tender, I just really find it a nice engine, Wish I could see one in real life someday. Next, we have the American Railroads number 611 Norfolk. Now this is the only American engine on this list. Now, in case it wasn't obvious by my voice or accent, I am American. Yes. And I really like American engines, not as much as British ones, you can't beat those. But 611 is the only surviving class of the Norfolk class, so, that's why it's only 611 here. Moving on to number 6. We have the Thomas Land Thomas in, England. Yes, I put this here. You won't see the ones from, the US or the Day of Thomas ones or, the older versions, simply because I've only been to the one in the UK. Now, for context, I am American. I was born there. I lived there my first years. I live in Europe now. I don't live in England specifically. I'm not going to say where I live and which country. It's Europe and not England. But, I've been to this Thomas Land once, back in, I want to say, 2023. So I've seen this engine in person, and God, I love it. And moving on to the top 5, we have the German steam locomotive, numbered 52 4867 now. This is a nice engine. I'm actually really into German locomotives. I've seen a couple. This Hoffenbone, I guess, would you call it that? Hoffenbone? I don't really know. I just, I like the red wheels. That's kind of cute. Normally it's black on most British engines, so nice to see red. The smoke deflectors, the mighty lamps. Yeah. Overall, this is just a really good engine. Very mighty. It has 5 driving wheels, which it could be a German Murdoch if you wanted. And speaking of Murdoch, we head to the 4th place, and that is the 9F. Yeah! This is like the mightiest engine ever. Fun fact, it was the last steam locomotive ever made in the UK. This version you see on screen right now, Evening Star, is the one. I really like 9Fs 1, Murdoch 2. They are so mighty beasts. I haven't seen one in person, sadly. But, 5 driving wheels, nice funnels, little steam, Yeah, so I really, really nice engine, I must say. Very good. Big, mighty, that's what I like. And now, in the 3rd place, we have the Flying Scotsman. Woohoo! Now, the most famous steam locomotive in the world had to make it on this list, and that's why this is the only surviving engine of the A1/A3 class. Yeah. Flying Scotsman has been around the world. It's been to America, been to Australia, Love it. Not just because he sort of appeared in Thomas, albeit horribly animated. In model series, we only saw tenders. But, we're not talking about Thomas. Real engines. I really like the Flying Scotsman. It's not number 1. It can't really do that, but the most famous locomotive had to make the top 3. And now we move to the GNR Sterling single, specifically number 1. You all know this is the basis for Emily. I know this as the greatest tender engine ever. Yes, number 1's going to be a tank engine. I love this engine, like the big driving wheel. Tender's pretty nice. The slick designs, how it goes down, and then the casing. Oh, it really does look like a woman's hair. The tiny cab, the long funnel that stretches up to the sky. There's only one in preservation right now, and that is the first one built, number 1. I love this. Not just because of Emily, but also because it's a phenomenal beast of a locomotive. And now we are moving on to number 1, and that is the Austerities. Now you may be shocked and blown away. I put this measly little tank engine, 1 in a million, mass-produced, over ones like the Flying Scotsman 611, that Thomas Land Thomas. Well, guess what? I don't care. This is my ranking. The Austerity engine is nice. This was my favorite, even as a kid. Yes. I just really like, the nice, the saddle around it, because, I grew up watching Thomas, like probably everyone watching. And there's like a smoked box, and then the boiler, the tanks, or the saddle, like with 1663, you can see it. But I find the austerity unique for that. I'm not saying it's the only one. Like, bruh, the 5700 class pannier tanks, otherwise known as Duck, have it. But I just really like it. Not because one is named after Wilbur Audrey. Like, well, that's probably a big reason of why. But I just like it simply because it's unique. And that's all that engines are. Thanks for enjoying this ranking video. Again, as I said, special thanks to a special fan. I had this idea in my head for a long time, working on some lists, kind of forgot about it, but thanks to this video, I got it back. If you want to see a part 2 to this, maybe diesel engines, narrow gauge engines, I'm up. So I'm Zebdee. Don't kill me for maybe some rankings. And goodbye, everyone.